From the bowels of Uranus to the plains of Mars, it's the Movie Slackers. Hello, I'm Robbie Robb as the voice. I've got Sean, also known as Waspman 5000, and Johnny Two Toes. Today we're reviewing Ant-Man. This is our part 2 segment.
Number deuce.
Number 2. And this will be with spoilers.
Number deuce. This is going down the toilet.
We got some spoilers for you for the Ant-Man.
So if you've not seen it and you don't want to be having
turn it off now. Turn it off. Look away. Don't listen.
Come back whenever you've seen the movie.
Yep. Pretty much so.
Yep. So you've been warned.
Yep. Everybody dies in the end.
Right. There's a pick me up, huh? There's a pick me up. That doesn't.
I'll turn everything.
That doesn't improve.
So
your
do
day.
we want to jump to the main spoiler ending there? Of course, everybody definitely will tell everybody again. Stay for the credits. Yeah. There's 2 little segments there at the end. But what do we see right at the end?
Stay all the way to the end of the credits. I know when I was watching it, almost everybody left after the first little end scene. They didn't realize it was a second one.
Yep.
So about us and a couple other people stayed for the very, very last scene, which involves...
So what do you think the biggest spoiler was? I know what I think is the biggest spoiler, but what do you think?
Well, I mean, if anybody's been paying attention, they knew that the Wasp would probably show up in it to some extent or somehow. And, of course, they show a little bit of Wasp, with Michael Douglas's back when he was originally...
With his wife.
Running around as Ant-Man, and then she was the Wasp, which... Of course, she ends up disappearing into the quantum realm because she had to shrink herself so far down to destroy a missile because they couldn't get into it. And then, he's hoping that she may somehow still be retrievable from this quantum realm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what state, she would be in, if she's aged or what. But also, at the end, is with the Wasp, he reveals... another spot behind his initial safe room where he kept the Ant-Man suit. There is a secret compartment room where he has the newer version of the Wasp suit, which he shows to his daughter, played by Evangeline Lilly. And
so that was probably one of the biggest ones for me.
Yes, he was holding off. He didn't really want her drug into the whole superhero mix.
Right, he tried to protect her.
And was trying to kind of protect her, of course. And of course, she. Didn't like that she was he was being protected or whatever, but he does eventually show her the suit, and which leads us to believe that she's going to become the next Wasp. So
I have a question. This was another. I mean, it was a big thing. Were you surprised how big a role Thomas the Train had? I mean, it was really huge in the movie.
Yeah.
Woo woo!
Can you explain that? Would you like to explain it?
Well, that was
actually one of the little funny ones. I mean, if you have little kids and stuff, I'm sure they enjoyed that little scene or little scene. And
maybe they were horrified. Tommy the Train is dead.
Of course, it's a good laugh because, like I said, we're spoiling a lot of stuff on this one. But he's got the 2 discs, one that shrinks items for people and one that enlarges, and happens to throw an enlarging disc at Thomas the Train just as it's going through the air, and then it enlarges into a full-size train blowing out through the side of the house and landing on top of a police car.
Yeah, there's cops, all kinds of people.
Woo!
Yeah, all kinds of emergency vehicles outside.
With his big old googly eyes looking back and forth. But that one gave me a pretty good little laugh. So
that was fun.
There was another one too. It was actually, of course, he makes friends and controls the ants and all kinds of little critters. But yeah, he threw another one on the disc. Would you like to explain that?
The ant that becomes the dog of the family. The little girl's feeding the ant.
The thing I was wondering too is how long do they stay enlarged? Because they never really said.
Yeah.
Because I mean, during the main action sequence of the movie, he enlarges the train, enlarges the ant by accident, and the ant's the size of a Rottweiler, running around. And his daughter later on in an end scene where they're sitting around the table and enjoying each other and they're eating dinner, talking about what happened. She, I can't remember what she gave him, but the ant's still enlarged and eating out of her hand from under the table like a dog. But,
my guess is they will shrink those that need shrinking for the next movie.
Yeah.
And those that don't matter, they'll leave them enlarged.
It's something they talked about in Civil War, that he may get his enlarging powers where he can become Giant Man.
Oh, okay. Well, that'd be cool.
So
Now,
One of the things-
go ahead.
I was going to say, one of the things that concerned me about this movie before I saw it was, how are they going to pull off realistically when he punches a grown man? And when he throws him, how are they going to pull it off? Because it's going to look really, really kind of goofy if you have a little guy here.
down.
When he shrunk down. But what they did was they shot a split second of him as regular sized, like zooming in, grabbing the guy, and throwing him through a window or something. And I thought that is so cool how they did that, that they actually took the time to make sure that they gave it some scope, some depth. They just didn't rely on this little tiny guy throwing a guy through a window and just expecting us to believe that.
Yep.
They actually took the time to kind of give the whole scene a little scope to it, and give Did you see that whenever you watched? There was like a split second shot of him as an adult grabbing the guy and throwing him. And I thought that was cool.
Of course, he's got in one of his hands, when you watch the suit and you look closely, one button he's got. Which I'm always kind of thinking that might interfere when you're balling your hands up to punch somebody. Of course, that's just part of the suit. But he's got the one button here where he kind of presses down his thumb on the side. Shrinks. One enlarges.
Okay.
So, he can do whatever. That's why they were practicing with him running through the hallway, jumping, shrinking, going through the keyhole, and enlarging.
Okay,
The other side.
Now, speaking of spoilers, did you like the way they tied in to the highly possibility of being in the Avengers?
Oh yeah. He's first going to be in Civil War.
Yeah.
Which they already kind of tied in. At the very last, if you stay to the end of the credits, you will see.
They're dealing with Bucky somehow.
Yeah, you'll see that Captain America and Falcon have look like they've captured Winter Soldier.
Yep.
And they basically have his arm wedged in some type of device to keep him immobile. And so they're saying something about they're on their own with this one.
Yeah.
So
and he says, "Well, actually, I know a guy."
Yeah.
And that guy is Ant-Man. It's Paul Rudd's character.
Yeah.
Now, guess who was originally considered for the role of Scott Lang and Ant-Man?
Who would that be?
Dookie Howser.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris. Yeah. Excuse me, I'm Ant-Man. Hello, I'm fabulous.
Want to see the magic? I'm gonna shrink.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt was considered for the role of Scott Lang and Ant-Man.
I like him.
He would have been a good choice, but I think Paul Rudd is. This is Paul Rudd's movie.
Yeah, Paul Rudd. He's got more of that comedic timing.
And this one was, a lot of the Avenger movies, of course, Joss Whedon, they make sure they infuse some comedy and stuff in there, some good lines and stuff. But Paul Rudd's definitely, like when he introduces himself to the Falcon, because he's shrunk down. He's like, wait a minute, something's over me. So, and of course the Falcon's technology, which you can tell has been upgraded.
Yeah.
He's spotted him as small as he is running around. Of course, they get into a tussle. And
a tussle.
But before they start really fighting, he introduces himself.
I'm Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. He's like, yeah, but and then they of course get into it and actually gives Falcon a pretty good little whooping.
Yeah.
But just the way
Falcon says, "We won't tell this to anyone. We won't say this to anybody."
Yeah, because he gets into a suit and takes out the chips and stuff.
And then decides to
knock his vision out. Yeah.
So, and of course, he's like, whatever you do not let Cap know anything about this.
Yeah.
But with Paul Rudd, that'll introduce a good humor aspect, and alongside with Robert Downey's one-liners and stuff like that.
Well,
So
I think Paul Rudd was as good as Ant-Man as Robert Downey Jr. was for Iron Man.
Yeah.
I think it was. That's what I thought. Look at it. Paul Rudd's got a great sense of humor. He was very funny in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh, yeah.
Hysterical.
He's always been...
He's always got a rather charming personality.
This is 40.
Yeah.
And
he was funny in that.
So. And the Anchorman, too.
Oh,
yeah.
He's not as big a part, but still,
But he's got a great sense of comic timing. And Michael Pena also.
Yeah, that was a pretty good surprise.
That whole group.
The whole group was great. Michael Pena, the opening scene where he picks him, he says, "So how you been?" He says, "How's your girl?" "Oh, she left me. My mama died too, and my father got deported."
But the funny thing is,
but I got the band.
He's always saying this with that silly grin on his face.
Yeah, he's got a great look on his face.
Yeah, I don't know. That's something he already had to bring in, or if that's something they had to work on him.
And the funny thing is, he's got like an iron right hook.
Yeah.
So he's taking out everybody. He's wow, just laying them out.
He was in a movie called Shooter with Mark Wahlberg, which was a serious film. And he played an FBI agent in that one, and he was very serious about it. And he definitely fit the role, and he was very good in it. So
but no, he played
he's a good actor.
Part
he's a
perfectly.
very, very good actor. He's great in that movie too. They're all great. Everybody in this movie
really
did a great job. There's no characters in the movie that have been wasted. From Michael Douglas Evangeline Lilly, they all just terrific.
Michael Douglas, I still kind of like the part where he's like, all right, are you ready to get your act together? He's like, yeah, I'm ready. My days of stealing and crime are all over.
What do you want to do?
Because I'm done with, breaking into in places and stealing stuff. He goes, what do you need me to do? And then Michael Douglas just looks at him straight face. I need you to break into a place,
steal some stuff.
Not exactly worded that way, but basically.
But it was well.
Which we saw. We've seen that in the trailers.
Yeah, but that was just well. It's just well timed. I mean, the delivery was great. They had the timing down just perfectly. It was just a well done movie.
Everybody did well. What was the? I forgot the lead bad guys.
Corey Stoll.
Which he did a pretty good job.
Played Darren Cross.
Didn't overplay it too much.
Straight jacket. Yeah, that's me. That's what I need.
Straight jacket.
Yellow jacket.
And he did
permanent hug.
And he definitely looked up to Michael Douglas as almost like a father figure.
He did.
Yeah. Like I said, I thought I saw a couple times when he had kind of tears in his eyes.
Well, he was disappointed that Michael's character didn't trust him more, but at the same time, Michael's character knew that he had a little twinge of
psychosis.
He was a little psychotic.
Well, psychotic evil. Evil.
But no, Corey Stoll did his Darren Cross was one of these characters that had you could tell he was smart. You could tell he had plans going on in his head, and he firmly believed what he was doing. For lack of anything else, was what he wanted to do was right. It wasn't obvious, but the psychotic side won out obviously. Yeah. But his villain was more than just a bad guy. He was I'm not really connected with him. That's probably the wrong word to use, but I understood what he was trying to do. Yeah. And fortunately, he failed. But he was well spoken. His villain was very very well spoken. Corey Stoll did a good job of not going over the top. I thought he had a tendency to go over the top of some of these roles, and sometimes that hurts the story. He didn't do it in this case, and I thought he was quite good as Darren Cross.
And This movie pulled in $58 million the first weekend, which was they were guessing I think somewhere around 60-osh million. So it did pretty good. I mean, a lot of people like me. I mean, Ant-Man was never one of my favorites.
Well, I
knew of them.
I don't think a lot of people thought that this movie would get the positive critical reception it's been getting.
A lot of people knew Paul Rudd. Of course, a lot of the cast members aren't in it, so they probably got an idea they might be decent with the actors that were in it. But most people probably didn't connect with Ant-Man. Yeah. I mean, people knew Iron Man a lot better, and of course, Thor and stuff like that. But most people, Ant-Man's not one on their list usually to watch.
Originally thought that was about your Ant.
But like I said,
here it comes. Go ahead, finish it up, boys.
What
about the ant?
What are you trying to say?
Let's go ahead.
Go ahead. Explain.
There's Ant-Man. Hey, did you have your Ant-Man?
Hey, Ant-Man. Where's the ant?
Oh, God.
Okay.
Is this like a flush thing we get hit?
No.
Unless you guys have anything else.
Well, if you were still kind of waiting and not sure if you want to go pay to watch it, it is worth watching.
It's a great movie.
If you watch the other Marvel stuff, go watch it because it ties stuff in. Stay until the very end of the credits.
Yeah, the last part of it.
You'll see everything. It's done very well. You're going to laugh some, and it's got good action. All right, and actually, Ant-Man kicks a lot more butt than you would think.
Yep.
So,
all right, well,
it's very good.
Which one we saw Avengers and Ant-Man? Which one you like? Which one you like more?
I mean, I still have to see. You mean Age of Ultron?
Yeah.
I mean, that's still probably number one for this summer.
But I mean,
it's totally, to me. That's on like a large scale, and this was a little bit more of a small scale, which is fine. Yeah, because you really need it too.
I like them both.
So they're both very well. I think I'd still inch out Age of Ultron.
I think if I was going to watch something over again, I'd watch Ant-Man again.
But I actually do want to go
just a hair. I
want to see them both again. But yeah, I guess in that terms, I think in just seeing that, I'd like to go see Ant-Man again.
Yeah, for me, Ant-Man was just a slight a hair. A lot of people have been complaining about Age of Ultron. I don't know why.
Age of Ultron was what it's supposed to be.
Well, exactly. I think maybe they were so big and fast paced, and you had a lot of a story here and there.
Everyone knew that's what the second one was going to be, and the third one's going to be even bigger. So
the Ant-Man itself, a little more comedy. Paul Rudd brings out the comedy better. It's done very well. All the cast members do a very good part with their
very surprised for me
parts.
How well it was done.
Action was good. The funny stuff was good. Michael Pena was very good. Added to the humor.
And Peyton Reed, this guy's directed a cheerleading movie. Bring it on. Yeah. And my hat is off to him. He did a fine job directing this movie.
Especially with the graphics of having go from normal size to split second micro size. I mean,
everything combined, everything flowed really, really well together, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
With this movie, you're just kind of excited to see how it really connects into the next ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was pretty darn good.
And
go see it if you've not seen it.
And that does sound good. And folks, don't forget to subscribe, like, and also comment to us on our YouTube channel. That's Movie Slackers YouTube channel. And also visit us at movieslackers.com.